The ocean keeps its secrets well. Beneath its shifting tides, beyond where light fades into darkness, something waits. A story too extraordinary to dismiss, yet too mysterious to prove. A tale passed down across generations, whispered between waves, and woven into myth. They say there once was a city, a kingdom so vast, so radiant, that even the gods envied it. A paradise of technology, beauty, and power, until it vanished in a single catastrophic night. This is the story of Atlantis, but not the one you've heard before. Our journey begins not in the waves, but in the minds of men. 360 BCE, one philosopher laid ink to parchment and captured the first account of the lost world known as Atlantis. That man was Plato, and what he wrote in his dialogues Timaeus and Critias has haunted humanity ever since. Plato did not claim to invent Atlantis. He said the tale was ancient even then, passed down from Egyptian priests to the Greek lawmaker Solon, and finally to him. Atlantis, he claimed, was a sprawling empire beyond the Pillars of Hercules, what we now call the Strait of Gibraltar, a civilization thousands of years older than Greece, magnificent, majestic, and fatally flawed. They had everything: wealth, wisdom, and wonders unknown. But they grew arrogant. They sought to conquer. And then, as if punished by the gods, the earth shook, the ocean roared, and Atlantis vanished. But here is the question that echoes across the centuries. Was Plato warning us through allegory? Or was he preserving a real memory of something mankind had lost? What if Atlantis wasn't entirely fiction, but an amalgamation? A myth built from the rubble of many fallen worlds. Consider the Minoans of Crete, Europe's first great civilization. They worshipped the bull, built sprawling cities with indoor plumbing, and flourished for centuries. Until one day, the volcano at Thera erupted, collapsing their empire into fire and water. Could their destruction have inspired Plato's tale? The Egyptians spoke of Zep-Tepi the first time, an era before the flood. The Sumerians described Eridu and the city of Dilmun, which vanished in a deluge. Even the Bible tells of a great flood, one that reset civilization itself. Are these simply separate myths, or are they fragments of a single, forgotten history? Atlantis, it seems, might not be a place at all, but a memory. The last glimmer of a lost golden age. A warning echoing from the deep. Plato did not just describe an empire, he described a technological marvel. The Atlanteans, he said, had mastered architecture, engineering, irrigation. They built their city in perfect concentric rings of land and sea. Defensive, symbolic, divine. At its heart, a temple plated in orichalcum, a mythical metal that shone like fire. But there is more. Some believe Atlantis harnessed energy from crystals, that they knew things modern science is only beginning to understand, such as hydroelectricity, sonar, and even anti-gravity. Could this be a fantasy? History is full of out-of-place artifacts such as ancient batteries in Baghdad, carvings of helicopters in Abydos, cities aligned to constellations with mathematical precision. Could Atlantis be the missing link between ancient wisdom and modern mystery? In Plato's tale, Atlantis was born of the gods. Poseidon, the sea gods, fell in love with a mortal woman and founded the kingdom through their children. These were not just kings, they were demigods, divine rulers who tamed mountains, carved canals, and defied nature. For a time, they ruled wisely, but in time, they turned corrupt, greedy, ambitious. They sought war, they challenged Athens, and the gods responded with fury. Plato said, Atlantis was swallowed by the sea in a single night. No warning, No mercy. Not just a tragedy, but divine punishment. The fall of an empire that dared to play the gods. So why does the story endure? Why, after 2,000 years, does the name Atlantis still spark curiosity, obsession, and longing? Maybe it is because Atlantis is more than a city. It is an idea, a possibility, a reflection of who we were, or who we could become. Every generation rediscovers Atlantis anew, as a paradise lost, as a warning ignored, as proof that beneath our feet, or beyond our reach, lies a forgotten chapter of human history. Perhaps we are not the first. Perhaps we have risen and fallen before. And if Atlantis was real, what did it look like? What did its streets sound like? What wonders did it hold before the sea took it all away? Why does every ancient culture speak of a flood? Why do civilizations vanish, only to be remembered in whispers? Atlantis might be lost, but its story is only beginning. Hit the subscribe button and let us know in the comments section where you are watching from, because next, we walk through its gates. Before it fell, before the sea swallowed it whole, Atlantis was not just a myth. It was a marvel, a vision of perfection. But what did this lost city actually look like? What secrets were etched into its stones? Tonight, we walk the streets of a forgotten world. This is the city of Atlantis. What did Plato truly see? Plato described the capital of Atlantis as a dream made real. Built in 3 great concentric circles of land and water, it was a geometric wonder, each ring connected by bridges, protected by towering gates, and crossed by ships that slid silently through canals. The city was not chaotic like many ancient settlements. It was ordered, engineered with intention. The outer ring was made for defensive and agricultural fields, forests, and massive naval docks. The middle ring is where artisans and tradesmen lived, and also goldsmiths, masons, and engineers worked there day and night. And at the center, the beating heart of Atlantis, the sacred Acropolis. Atop the central hill stood a temple unlike any other, dedicated to Poseidon, the god of the sea. Its walls gleamed with orichalcum, a legendary metal said to glow like fire. Within was a golden statue of the gods, riding a chariot pulled by 6 winged horses, to offer bulls in sacrifice, to consult divine omens, to rule, not with brute strength, but with celestial right, or so they believed. Plato said Atlantis shimmered with metals unknown to man. Orichalcum, the fire metal, once second only to gold. Was it legend? Or something more of an ancient alloy? Some believe it was an advanced form of brass, and others believe it is a superconductive material lost to time. But it was not just metallurgy. Atlantis had plumbing, hot and cold water. It had stadiums, baths, and irrigation systems that rival modern infrastructure. Plato even wrote of water pressure systems and energy harnessed from natural springs. Was this the peak of human civilization? Or the shadow of a knowledge older than humanity itself? The first king of Atlantis was Atlas, son of Poseidon. He and his descendants ruled for generations, not just as kings, but as demigods, with minds sharper than steel, with strength said to rival titans. They built with the precision of engineers and the vision of seers. But Atlantis was not a utopia. It had a military, vast and prepared. Plato describes 1,200 warships, tens of thousands of soldiers, and ambitions far beyond its borders. For all its order, its brilliance, Atlantis bore a fatal flaw, which is pride. Over time, its kings became so arrogant, they saw their power as divine, and began conquering other lands, stretching their empire across continents. They challenged Athens. They provoked the gods. And then, the earth answered. Plato ends his tale with silence. In a single day and night of misfortune, the island of Atlantis disappeared into the sea. No survivors, No warnings, just echoes. We may never know if Atlantis was real. But what Plato gave us was more than a location. He gave us a vision of what civilization could become and how quickly it could fall. They said it was lost. But what if? The lost city is real, buried beneath the sands, frozen in ice, or drowned in silence, waiting for someone to see it. There are over 200 claimed Atlantises locations across the world. Most are hoaxes, some are hopeful guesses, but a few are impossible to ignore, such as the island of Santorini, the Richat structure, also known as Eye of the Sahara in Mauritania, and lastly, the Bimini Road in Bahamas. The island of Santorini is a volcanic caldera in the Aegean, home to the Minoans, also the first European civilization. In 1600 BCE, a supervolcano erupted with the force of 40 atomic bombs, triggering tsunamis, collapse, and ruin. Advanced cities and maritime powers wiped out overnight. Does it sound familiar? Let us know in the comment section. Let's dive into the Richat structure, also known as Eye of the Sahara in Mauritania. The Richat structure is a massive formation in the Sahara, a perfect concentric circles, 25 miles wide. The Eye of Africa, once surrounded by rivers, sitting beyond the Pillars of Hercules, just like Plato described. No one knows how it formed, but it matches the shape, the size, and even the orientation. So, why is the world not talking about it? Drop a suggestion in the comment section. Let us proceed further to the Bimini Road in Bahamas. Under the waves of the Bahamas lies the Bimini Road. Perfectly aligned stone blocks, stretching hundreds of feet, too regular to be natural. Some claim it is an ancient harbor. Others claimed it's the remnants of Atlantis' edge. But no one is sure, because no one agrees on what Atlantis really was. Mainstream historians roll their eyes at Atlantis. They say it is too mythical and too magical. But maybe that's the point. The Library of Alexandria, where ancient texts on Atlantis were stored, burned to the ground. Entire languages lost and maps erased. Today, classified CIA files hint at ancient pre-flood cultures. Even NASA has scanned ocean floors with high-resolution sonar and gone silent. What if the reason we don't hear more is because if it were true, it would change everything? In 2023, a private research team used AI to analyze sea levels from 11,000 years ago, and they cross-referenced Plato's descriptions, tectonic data, and satellite imagery. What they found was chilling. A submerged landmass off the coast of southern Spain, 3 massive circular structures, deep beneath layers of sediment, exactly where Plato said it would be. Carbon dating suggests 9,500 BCE. That is 11,500 years ago. Older than the pyramids, older than Sumer, older than history itself. If Atlantis existed, then the story we have been told about human history is wrong. Civilization did not begin in Mesopotamia. It rebooted there after something was lost. Atlantis might have been the end of a previous age. A time when humans reached heights we can't yet imagine, before it all collapsed. Not fantasy, and not aliens, but us. Before the flood, and before the reset. Here is the twist no one expects. Plato said the story of Atlantis came from Egypt. The Egyptians said they got it from someone older still. And this person? We are yet to discover this person. We may not be the beginning. We may be the aftermath. Atlantis was not a utopia. It was a warning. A message passed through ruins, through myth, through memory. A voice from deep time, whispering, the life we live today was once lived by other creatures, said to be highly intelligent humans just like us. Does this mean we could be next? Thanks for coming with us to the end. Let us answer some questions here. Do you think Atlantis is not something we are supposed to find? Could Atlantis be a lie after all? What if it is something we are meant to remember? Because we might be next. Drop your thoughts in the comment section and hit the subscribe button to stay tuned on more mysterious stories.